So has anybody in here ever had a Thanksgiving dinner where something was missing? Missing here? That's all right. So me, I'm a big, I like the turkey, I like the ham. We have turkey and ham families. Anybody? Okay. I was like, you know what, for me, as long as you got one of those, then we're okay, right? We're okay with that. Who has a favorite thing you eat once a year at Thanksgiving? What's up? Deviled eggs? You said, what'd you got? Hash brown casserole. That's a first. I've never heard that. Okay. Cranberry sauce. Okay. Rolls. Okay, you don't have those any other time of the year. I like it. Sam, in the back. Dressing. All right. Yeah, let's go. Oh, Kyle. Tater tot casserole. What's up? Pumpkin. Just a whole pumpkin. I respect it. All right. So for me, right, like I said, I really love the turkey. I love the ham. If I show up for the Thanksgiving dinner and there ain't no turkey and there ain't no ham, I'm just gonna leave, right? That ain't Thanksgiving to me. That's what I'm here for, right? Exactly. It's Turkey Day. You know, as long as we got something of substance to eat. So I can think of a lot of things that are similar to this. In fact, one time it's kind of similar, right? For me, it's the meat. That's the main course. It's not a meal if I don't have part of the meat in the meal. So I actually was going out to dinner. It was at a local establishment with the one and only Michael and Danielle DeRosset, right? It was with my wife before we had a kid. I won't tell you where it is, all right? We get there, they're busy. They're pretty busy all the time. This is fine, right? But I'm hungry. So we go and we sit down. They take our drink order. They bring it out to us. They take our regular order. I order an 8-ounce New York strip, all right? I'm ready. I've been waiting for this all day, okay? Now, I have some sides. I don't even remember what they are. This is how little of importance these things are in my meal. Or I don't remember what these are. So we sit down. We're having this conversation. It feels like it takes a while, but that's okay because we're having this good conversation. They bring out the food finally, and what do they always ask, right? They ask, hey, will you cut into this and make sure that it's cooked to your liking? See, I order my steak a medium rare, all right? You can respect that or not, but I know I can eat a lot of steaks, all right? I cut into this thing, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, I trust you guys. This is fine. I cut a piece off of it, and on the outside, it looks all good. On the inside, that steak is raw. I mean, I tell you, it is so raw, all right? I was like, listen, I'm sorry I don't normally do this, but I really need y'all to cook this just a little bit more, not that much. So they take it back. And now I feel the hunger, right? Because everybody else is there and they're digging into their meal. My wife's got her chicken, Danielle, Michael, they got their food. Yeah, eat. You don't want your food to get cold. They're eating. And I'm just watching them eat their food, right? I was so excited when I finally saw that waitress come back out. My steak, it's sizzling. It's nice and hot, right? They bring it, set it down in front of me, and I'm like, oh, something's not quite right here. See, it's cooked fine now. But you notice I said I cut a piece off of my steak? I cut a third off of my steak, and they bring it back to me, and it's gone. It's not on the plate anymore. And I had a ruined meal, man. I still, to this day, when I go to that restaurant, I will not order a steak because I don't trust them, I learned my lesson. I don't cut through it all the way. And see, to tie this all in, there's a lot of times that our walk with God is exactly like this. Now, bear with me, it's a little bit of a stretch, right? See, a lot of times we look on the outside like we're having this relationship with Christ, but if we cut into it and we dig a little bit deeper, we know that there's a lot of work that still needs to get done in our lives. See, sometimes that outward appearance doesn't reflect what's on the inside. And see, other times in our lives, He reveals to us that there's still more work to be done, right? We cut off that part of our life, and God tells us, you don't need this anymore. And He says, you don't need this anymore. And what do? We hold on to it. Right? I sent that steak back to the kitchen, and what did they do? They held on to that piece of my steak. Just like we can hold on to parts of our hearts when God reveals that those are things we need to let go of, right? So this leads me into this first bit, and this is for everybody here, all right? Jesus wants us to give him our all. And see, this is so important. This account I'm about to tell you appears in all 4 of the Gospels. In this one, it's in Mark chapter 12, verses 29 through 31. And this is when Jesus was asked, what's the most important commandment? And Jesus replies with this. He says, the most important one, answered Jesus, is this: Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God. The Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. And the second is this: to love your neighbor as yourself. There are no greater commandments than these. And see, this is an important thing, because Jesus didn't have to say all every single time. He could have said it at the beginning and it would have been fine. But no, he emphasizes it. He says, all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, all your strength. This is important to him. See, it's important because we are the ones who get to decide how much we're going to give to God. See, my analogy with the steak breaks down here because that steak didn't decide to come out to me raw. That steak didn't decide to have a surface level cook. And when I sent it back and it was brought back to me, that steak didn't decide to keep part of itself back from me, right? That didn't happen. The steak didn't have a choice in all of that. That was my fault for cutting the part off and the cook's fault for not cooking it right? But our relationship with God, we get to choose how much we give to him. See, God reveals himself to us all the time. He reveals a work that he wants to do in our lives. He reveals a thing that we need to let go of, and we need to decide that we're going to listen to him in those moments. We get to decide how we respond. If we want to have more than a surface level relationship, we're the ones who determine that. You see, God loves you. He wants the best for you, and the best thing is to follow him, but he lets you decide that for yourself, right? See, we're the ones who resist God. It's not the other way around. See, God's never going to be the one who's holding himself back from us. He always is there. He's always trying to get deeper and deeper into a relationship with you. He loves you. He wants that for you. So again, Jesus speaks on the heart in Matthew 6:21. He says, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. See, no one can serve 2 masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. And see, hate in this passage here, it's not referring to literally hating something. It's just, you can only choose one to serve. Our God's not of this world, and money is. See, you can replace money with so many different things. You can replace money with video games, friends, pornography, social status, social media, sports school, literally anything that's of this world that's not God. You can replace the word money, and it still holds true. That phrase still works. Because at the end of the day, there's going to come a time in your life where you have to decide between whatever that thing is, whether it's money or whatever, and God. You have to decide that, right? And you can try to hold part of yourself back from God. But if you want to experience that true freedom, the true joy, the true love, and that true peace that only God can give you, you can't hold it back. You can't decide that you're going to try to serve 2 masters or you're going to try to serve the world. You have to choose that you're going to give God everything. See, it says this in Proverbs 3:5-6. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. See, our God loves us. He wants that for us. So we have to do this. We have to make the decision to devote our heart to Jesus. And so if you're feeling called to respond to this and you're thinking, oh, maybe I've got to say some magic words, or maybe God's not talking about me, then I've got a little bit of a response for you. It's one little verse, Romans 10:9. It says, if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, then you will be saved. See, the beginning is that simple. The beginning of that relationship, that first step, is really that easy. You just say, God, I believe in you. I'm going to devote my heart to you. I believe in you. But see, that's just the beginning. And what happens after this is said in Ezekiel 36, verse 26. And it says, and I will give you a new heart, and a new spirit I will put within you. And I will remove the heart of stone from your flesh and give you a heart of flesh. And that's beautiful. That's an amazing thing. The fact that God will take out this cold and this hard part of our lives, and he's going to replace it with something that's warm, that's beating, that is his spirit. But also, he says he's going to remove the heart of stone from your flesh. And so this is where it really ties into the people who are believers already, is that that's not always a pleasant experience, okay? See, removing the heart from your body, that can be really, really uncomfortable at times. See, it doesn't sound pleasant to me. It doesn't sound pleasant to a lot of people. But there are a lot of parts in my life, see, that I wanted God to remove, and he does remove from it. I didn't have the easiest childhood, and I deal with that aftermath like to this day. But God has brought me healing. He's brought me comfort. He's brought me joy. He's taken those parts out of my life. He's replaced those cold and hard and stony bits of my heart with his spirit and with a heart of flesh. And see, as I continue my life, there's been a lot of times that past has come back up to haunt me. And God has said, you know what, it's been okay that you've carried this for so long, but it's time to let it go. And a lot of times that can be really uncomfortable. But I have to choose and decide to submit to his will. I have to choose to do that for him. You see, God will take that pain away. He'll take away that suffering, that grief, that sorrow, and he will take it and use it for his glory. And it's a beautiful thing, but you have to let him do that. And I am here to tell you, like right now, that it's worth it, right? See, I serve in youth. I'm not your youth pastor. I'm not here just saying this to you because I think that it's, like, I've experienced this. This is a real thing. I'm telling you that although I've dealt with a lot of those things, God has removed that hurt and that bitterness from my life and from my heart. I don't think about it until the situation comes up that I can use it to glorify God. And that is a beautiful thing. See, God was telling me that there's parts of my heart that I don't get to keep anymore. See, it's like that little bit of the steak. For whatever reason, the chef decided I didn't need that anymore, right? Whoever was heating that back up said I didn't need it. It wasn't meant for me to keep. And God does the same thing with parts of our lives. See, that can be a friend. I've had to let go of a lot of friends. It could be our finances. I've let go of a lot of those things. It can be a lot of things in our life. It can be a lot of actions, a lot of choices that we've made. But God showed me that the option was that I get to pursue him or I get to pursue those other things in those parts of my life. And it's worth it. See, we have to make that decision today. Like, let's not wait any longer. You have this choice to follow Christ. You have this choice to pursue him. And nobody else can do that for you. That's the beautiful thing of it. And that's the hard part. God will reveal himself to you. See, Christ's salvation was for you, and it was for you alone just as much as it was for all of us in this room. See, if you were the only one left, God still would have chosen to send his son to die on the cross for you, to be tortured, to die a painful death, and then to rise again later so that he could place his spirit inside of your heart, that he could heal you and renew you. See, because God didn't come for the people who were well. Jesus didn't come for the people who didn't need healing. Jesus came for the sick. Jesus came for the weary. He came for the brokenhearted. He came for those who needed healing. And I know that all of us in this room, myself included, need healing in this place. See, God, this is why we're here, isn't it? That's why we're here, whether you know that's why you're here or not. That's why we're here tonight. We are here to experience that love, to receive that love, to devote ourselves to him, and then to share that with other people, to love one another as Christ has loved us. See, God can remove a lot of things from your life. He can remove a lot of those hurts. We just have to allow him to do that work in us each and every single day.